speaking about the MSCI for so long. Now that event is behind us. As well, the global markets are giving us very confusing trends at this point in time. It's one up, one down. So at the moment, probably we are going to chart our own course and move to domestic cues.
Oh yes, hi Lata, morning. 7 straight days of a fall for our market, so the trend is extremely weak as we've been documenting for the last many days. But at least that overhang of, that China A shares getting included, that has been deferred at least for now.
Yes, I think that is a big consolation. It was always expected. I mean, it wasn't as if people were expecting the MSCI index to look very different, but now it's crystal clear that the A shares, as they speak, the Chinese listed shares in Shanghai are going to get included at a later date, probably next year. And the problems are familiar for those of us who have covered the market in the 90s. The problems that foreign investors have is that accessibility is an issue. Repatriation of capital mobility. Actually, to be fair, Indian policymakers moved this phase admirably in the 90s. There was almost never a problem that if you invest shares in the equity markets, you will not be allowed to take it back. And this even when, in 1997, after the Asian crisis, Malaysia suddenly put a ban on repatriation of capital invested in shares. India never made such mistakes. In China, those mobility issues are still being, these are capital controls. Once you invest, you can't take out money. There are problems. As well, quota allocation. You may be familiar with quota allocation in the Indian debt market.
Yeah.
But it's done largely transparently. There is an auction process which SEBI conducts to give quotas to debt. In China, even equity is done that way, but it's not a very transparent process. So this is what the MSCI capital index guys are going to be discussing with the Chinese securities regulator in the months to come and resolve them. And as and when the allocation becomes transparent and you are able to repatriate reasonably easily, these things will never happen in a day. If you are a capital controlled country, you will always move in stages. Like India moves on FII debt. We move in stages, a small step at a time. So all those issues will be resolved, and probably when the 2017 review takes place next year, 5% of the shares could be included, and that will mean a 1 percentage point increase for the weightage of Chinese shares in MSCI. Short point for us, we will live to bother about this at a later date.
Okay, well that's good to hear. In terms of the data as well, yesterday we saw the markets multiple times go to that 8,000 mark and bounce back from there. But when you look at the internals, it suggests at least for today, the 8,000 levels perhaps could hold, because there was a lot of short covering seen at that point, both on the Nifty as well as on the Bank Nifty. And if you look at the internal data, yes, there was selling by FIIs in the cash market, but in the stock futures and in index futures, there was buying. So we saw almost 300 crores of buying in stock futures, 160 crores of buying in index futures, and the domestic institutions buy figure has overtaken the sales that's coming from the FIIs.
Yes.
So that's the positive. There is quite a bit of value buying or maybe cherry picking that you're seeing at these lower levels. Also the India VIX, just watch out for that, because generally when the markets sell off and then the volatility falls, that's a suggestion that perhaps the market is bottoming out. So yesterday we saw the India VIX fall quite a bit. So let's see, maybe that 8,000 psychological mark could hold. But Lala, what about the banks? Because we did see quite a bit of short covering on the Bank Nifty. In fact, it was the Bank Nifty that held forth yesterday.
Oh yes, it was up 1/3%, and that prevented the Nifty probably. If the Bank Nifty had even fallen as much as the Nifty had fallen, then we would have fallen below the 8,000 mark for sure. So clearly that was the bulwark against it. There are a couple of things happening over here. Some of the PSU banks, and this is not the reason why the Bank Nifty held up, because PSU banks have a very small space in the Bank Nifty itself. So it was really the recovery in ICICI, primarily ICICI, and to a lesser extent Axis, which helped this, and that is singularly because of the Reserve Bank giving more teeth to banks to take money back from defaulting promoters. So that was exactly one clause, and both these have banks, ICICI and Axis, have a lot of exposure to infrastructure companies and probably defaulting companies, and that was certainly a positive. But the other positive we saw generally in bank stocks is the buying or short covering in a lot of PSU banks, and notably among them Bank of India, Canara Bank, OBC, Union, IDBI. All these are trading either at 0.4 times or or slightly even below 0.4 times book value, depending on how you're calculating the book actually. That is still a moving target now, what with so much uncertainty over this year's profits. Some of them could be losses as well. So like for instance, Bank of India is actually trading below book for some people. Below 4 times book for 0.4 times book for some people. Usually when PSU banks go at to 0.4 and below, there are a bunch of traders who buy them. And they sell them as they move closer to 1 time book. Because this is a trade that seems to be working for the last many months, even years. So the support could be coming because that is a level at which you do see buying. But separately, I'm not very sure the Bank Nifty will hold. Although the Reserve Bank's efforts to strengthen the ability of banks to tackle defaulters is a positive. A lot of the brokerages, including Morgan Stanley, whom we spoke with yesterday, Anil Agarwal, are downgrading the EPS forecast even of private sector banks. They've downgraded public sector banks considerably, but even private sector banks marginally have been brought down because growth forecasts are being brought down. Earnings forecasts have come down. So there is a bit of shaving off of that, and hence the ability of the Bank Nifty to remain a bulwark for a longer period is in doubt. It happened yesterday for several technical reasons. Buying coming in PSU banks, short covering, as well as a good amount of DII money and this Reserve Bank announcement coming in. But there is an overall weakness, and the Bank Nifty will not be able to provide
that for too long.
Counter for too long.
No, I take your point. Even if you look at what's happening globally, I mean, look at crude. Once again, Brent crude is back above $65 a barrel, and that's always something that we need to worry about. Apparently, the U.S. Energy Administration has raised their 2015 oil demand forecast, so that has kept crude very active. So yes, fundamentally, our market is moving from weakness to weakness, but perhaps technically you could see some amount of management around that 8,000.
Well, as crude rises, the same arguments will come in as came in March. Came in May. If crude is rising because demand is rising, then inflation is going to tick higher. And inflation is going to tick higher primarily because of the base effect. Remember, last year, crude started falling from $105 in June. So as you come to July, August, you're getting a crude of, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. The base effect will make the current inflation look higher. And as inflation ticks higher, bond yields will rise higher. And you will have the same amount of money being pulled away from emerging markets, because that's the pattern that has played. So this pattern of money moving from emerging markets, and particularly from India, which has an oil vulnerability, will perhaps remain with us for some time now.
All right, well, we'll get a lot of big guests to discuss all this and more.